See, that pride goes against our HR policies.
LZ,
that's what he signed. That's what he agreed to.
Can we, though, not be fair to the fact that people that truly believe the whole text of the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, Orthodox Jews who believe their Old Testament, some Muslims, even the Dalai Lama, who believe that certain behaviors are sin. And by the way, there's a whole big list there, and I break many of them. I am the chief of sinners. Hang on, Ben. Can we not agree that it is absolutely different believing in your faith and believing your sacred text and having a hatred and a bigotry towards people? And I agree with you.
May well be, but I do want to ask you this question because I am also, I was raised in the church. My grandfather was a bishop in our church. I'm raising my children to be kids of faith in California, which is sometimes controversial. And I just want
what, the faith part in California?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Very secular, very secular. So listen, right. I think we have a lot in common.
Sure.
But I want to say this, and I want to say it even more forcefully.
Yeah.
If I were to point to the Bible and say, to point to the parts of the Bible that justify slavery, and I went on an interview and I said, I believe that black people should be enslaved because of the Bible, I would have my contract canceled. If I said that women should be subordinated, they should be under the boot heel of a man, they should never be at this workplace, I would lose my contract. Why is it? We are now in a position where there are things in the Bible that are no longer going to be acceptable in the middle of the public square. Why is that going to be considered an attack on Christianity as opposed to standing up for decency and respect for all Americans?
Well, first off, no one's arguing that they don't have a right to cancel contracts, and again, businesses can do as they choose.
You agree with
but what I'm saying, no, I don't think that they should suspend him because I think he was expressing his beliefs, and I don't think they will eventually. In fact, they're doing a whole marathon because it is a product that people want, and TLC says please suspend him. We'd like to have him, but and I would like to think he's a marketing genius. I don't know. Maybe I should call him for some help for us if that's the case. That was pretty thoughtful. I don't think he did it on purpose. Because you know why I don't think he did it on purpose? Because nobody wants to be called a bigot and hateful. And by the way,
industry based upon this.
Well, maybe so, but most people,
the whole station.
Most people, it is painful to point out things that hurt people's feelings. It's painful for me to talk about even the issue of divorce and cohabitation, out-of-wedlock birth, because it hurts people's feelings. But if we're going to point to what we think the Bible says or what is actually best for society, sometimes we have to say stuff that's not popular.
And by the way, ironically, if you read the whole interview and not just take one section, he talks very specifically about loving everybody. He talks very specifically about not being judgmental towards anyone, that's God's decision, not his. I mean, it is a remarkable. There are sections there where he sounds a lot like Pope Francis.
And really remarkable about slandering people and then coming around and saying love everybody. I mean, people have been doing that time and time again. Love the sinner, but, hate the sin. I mean, that's nothing remarkable about that.
You too want to claim the right that you get to edit the Bible so that the parts you approve of ought to be allowed to be talked about.
Actually, what we're pointing out is the hypocrisy that the right always want to edit the Bible to justify their positioning on things. That's the part where...
What are we editing? I'm accepting the whole text.
You're for slavery, and you're going to appoint...
First off, I completely disagree that the Bible in any way justifies slavery.
Well, hey, listen.
I think it comments on what happened.
I can't wait till after this commercial break. Now, listen, this controversy over Duck Dynasty is a part of a much bigger conversation, also a part of a bigger change going on in the country. Next, as a Southerner who grew up in the church, I'll tell you the advice I would give to the folks on Duck Dynasty when we get back.